Champion Spark Plug Grand Prix, as the world has come to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the 1987 U.S. Formula One Powerboat National. These top drivers from around the world will challenge the best competitors and the waters of the Allegheny for the title of U.S. National Champion. The Champion Spark Plug Grand Prix is sponsored by Champion Spark Plug. More people rely on Champion than any other spark plug in the world. Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where today hundreds of thousands of people will come down to witness one of the great spectacles in Pittsburgh each year. It is the Champion Spark Plug Grand Prix. Three rivers come together in downtown Pittsburgh, and it is the Three Rivers Festival that they are celebrating. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Crippen, along with Mark Spencer at Powerboat Magazine. Kind of a unique event, a unique happening for Pittsburgh this year.
That's right, Dick. Racing is a game of variables, but there's two things we know for sure about this event. Number one, conditions right now are ideal, but 15 laps into the race, it's going to be rough. The bridges and the configuration of the race course dictate that it's going to be a destruction derby. Number two, Benny Robertson is going to be fast. He set top time in qualifying at 125 miles an hour. He's the man to beat. Case van der Velden, Andy Bullen, and Rick Frost, they're going to work hard to keep him honest.
And the thing about Benny Robertson is that he's going to be starting back 17th on the Le Mans start because he had some problems with the gearbox yesterday. We'll talk more about that in the race. As far as the weather conditions, we must remind everyone there have been some showers in Pittsburgh this day. Although it is nice right now, it could rain during the race.
The drivers are anxious. They're ready. There's about 300,000 people here. This is going to be a fantastic boat race.
Mark, the weather was a little questionable, but it looks like it's stabilizing just a bit.
That's right. After three very, very hot days, conditions for today's event are ideal. It's 76 degrees outside. Got a little bit of an overcast, but very, very mild winds and calm water conditions. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be exciting. This international field of 19 boats will start against the backdrop of Three River Stadium. On the gun lap, the fleet will head west to turn one at the
Plug Grand Prix from Three Rivers Regatta in Pittsburgh is coming up right after this.
Up and down pit road, the drivers are talking about wheels, and in effect, propellers are the tires of a race boat. They're small, they're expensive, and they're very important. The drivers have an important decision to make. Some prefer 3 blades, some prefer 4. As far as Rick Frost is concerned, it's a matter of personal preference. Rick, why will you be running a 3-blade here in Pittsburgh?
Well, I think it's good. Probably justified the use of a 3-blade propeller, bearing in mind the way you set the boat up to run. I could run a 4-blader, but I think this particular course and with this particular boat, 3 blades should prove an advantage.
Case van der Velden is one of those drivers that feels that 4 blades are better than 3. Case, what are the advantages of a 4-blade propeller?
Okay, 4-blade compared to propeller to 3-blade is just like tires on a car. You like to have as much grip on the road. That's what we like to have in the water. The 3-blade has a blade on the bottom, 1 and 2, and the water level is in the middle. It means there's only 1 blade in the water. What we like to have is 2 blades in the water. Okay, a 4-blade has always 2 blades in the water, or 1.5, which gives you better handling.
Benny Robertson will start today's boat race with a 3-bladed propeller. Ben, what are the advantages of 3 blades versus 4?
The 3 blades have been tried, they've been tested, they've been out for many, many years. We know the secrets behind a 3-blade propeller. Mainly, they are a lot faster. A 4-blade will probably never run as fast as a 3-blade, but the 4-blade does control the boat better.
Here's our starting lineup for the Three Rivers Regatta. Watch out for this guy. In the pole position, the Sly Fox from Boxtel, Holland, Case van der Velden. Boat number 6 right alongside him. Likes the rough water. Rick Frost of Wockingham, England, and he may get rough water today.
In the number 3 slot, Andy Bullen from Herne Bay, England. And in number 4 is boat number 28, Ron Ackerman from Portsmouth, Ohio.
And the first time driving in the United States in this race, number 40, Bill Marshall from Toronto, Canada. Mark Rothamel will be driving the number 24, one of the best boats he's ever had.
In the number 7 position, boat number 53, Mark Crosland from Woodstock, Georgia. And in the number 8 slot, number 25, Larry Everett from Ontario, Canada.
And a real veteran of the driving circuit from Englewood, Colorado, Johnny Sanders in boat number 96. From Finland, Arno Hakkinen in boat number 17.
In position number 11, boat number 12, Don Jenkinson from Wayne, Pennsylvania. And Tom Henderson will be in slot number 12, boat number 77 from Ontario, Canada.
One of the hometown entries from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Bill Roscoe Jr. in boat number 75. And from Schenectady, New York, in his first year of driving, Bob Balakovic. He is in boat 48.
In position number 15, boat number 52, Brian Daly from Diamond Bar, California. He'll drive a Yamaha. And beside him, another hometown favorite, John Povich Jr. from Ambridge, Pennsylvania.
And here's a favorite starting way in the back of the pack, number 57, Ben Robertson from Charleston, South Carolina. Next to him will be Avon, Minnesota's Randy Pearson in boat number 36.
And rounding our field of 19 drivers, Scott DeWare in boat number 42 from Boston, Massachusetts.
Let's go down to the pit area now where Jim Brinson is standing by.
Thank you very much, Dick. And yes, we are here to cover all of the Fast and Furious action here in the pit area. If anything happens on the course, boats have to come in during the race. We'll bring that information to you. I'll have all the information for you from the pit area. Let's go back now to Dick.
Thank you very much, Jim. And Mark, as we look now at that start for the Le Mans start, the boats are sitting there ready to go. Let's talk a little bit about how they will start these boats.
Dick, there's a series of lights across the river. The drivers will have a warning indicator, then a gun will go off, and then when the light goes green, the drivers hit the starting button, and then they pray.
And it's going to be real tight getting down under the bridge and coming up on what will be number 1 turn. And, of course, the boat that would like to get there first is boat number 1. That's Case Vandervelden, and they are now into the countdown for the start of this race. We should see these engines kick on momentarily, and part of the test is starting that engine when the green light goes, and there they go. Case Vandervelden gets away clean, as is Andy Bullen in the number 16, and the boat in between is Rick Frost. That's boat number 6, and coming down, look at Vandervelden. Vandervelden comes down underneath the bridge, and he has got the lead, but Frost is right on him. We've got 2 other boats sitting on the outside of Frost. One of those boats, number 53, is Mark Crosland. He is on the far outside, and right next to him would be Andy Bullen. And look at that shot as they go down through turns 1 and 2. In the lead, it is Case Vandervelden of Boxtel, Holland. He's the boat that won the 20-lap semi-feature yesterday. He had no problems at all. Now we notice that Ben Robertson has moved up. He is about 9th in the field. Now remember, he started 17th from the Le Mans start. Already Robertson, who comes into this race as a co-favorite with Vandervelden, is moving up in the pack, and he is totally encapsulated in that boat. So he's one guy that has to really feel good about this rain stopping, because he doesn't have to worry about it. Number 96, Johnny Sanders, out of it. Also, sorry to report, number 11, Johnny Probich from Ambridge, Pennsylvania, is out of it. The battle up front, Case Vandervelden, he looks like he's running picture perfect.
Case Vandervelden is a veteran powerboat racer. He is 46 years old. He has won at every major race course around the world except for this one. Case has a couple little tricks up his sleeve. He is the only driver out here that has power steering, which is a great advantage to him. As the race wears on, he can get his boat through the turns a little bit easier. He also is the only man who designs and builds his own boat, so he knows his equipment backwards and forwards.
Well, Andy Bullen unofficially was riding in 3rd place. Now we get it official. He is 3rd, but moving on the inside of him is Ben Robertson, and there you see the leader. But the battle now is back in 3rd place, where Benny Robertson has moved from 17th. He's trying to get to the inside of the number 16 boat. Robertson has done it, and now he's challenging Rick Frost for 2nd place. Benny Robertson in turn number 1. There you see Rick Frost in boat number 6. The boat right behind him is Benny Robertson on the inside. Robertson got high momentarily, but he holds on to it, and that's where the race is right now. Case Vandervelden out in front, but what a job Benny Robertson has done to get up in that field.
Benny Robertson qualified at 125 miles an hour. Case Vandervelden, who was on the pole, qualified at 118. Benny had a problem in the 20-lapper. He lost the lower unit, so he had to start in the back of the pack. There is no question that he has the fastest boat out here today. The question is, can he move through the traffic, and what kind of toll will that take on him?
And he's going to have to catch this man, as you see on your screen right now, Case Vandervelden. What a job he's doing in boat number 1. Now, the 2nd place boat is indeed number 57. He has passed Rick Frost. Frost is now back in 2nd with Andy Bullen Frost in third, Andy Bullen in fourth. The second place boat is number 57. There's the third place boat, number 6, Rick Frost of England. What a job of driving. The gear case went out for the boat in second place now, and there's a boat over. A boat is over in turn number 2. We're trying to identify who it is. It looks like number 25. That's Larry Everett out of Toronto. And there you can see it. He's out of Canada, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Larry Everett, boat number 25. He apparently all right. He is beside the boat. The rescue crew is getting over there immediately. So that's an indication right off the bat that we've got some rough water out there, Mark.
Pittsburgh is always a rough water course, especially in the turns. Larry Everett is in a very precarious situation right there. He's got to be careful. They're going to bring the boats down and slow them down.
Well, Mark, we get official word now. That is boat number 75. There is a 25 on the bottom of the boat. They had to change the boat number because there was another 25 registered on the international scene for this race. So it is actually Bill Roscoe Jr. of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a marine dealer locally. Meanwhile, they have red flagged the race, so the red flag is out on the course right now. As we check to see the positioning of the boats, the red flag on the course, the boats now are repositioning themselves again as they tend to the boat that was over in the turn. And a lot of times they'll red flag it like that because the boat is in the turn. You can see he's just inside the buoy.
There's no way they can continue racing when there's a driver in the water like that. They will bring the driver in no matter what condition he's in just to check him out and to make sure that everything's okay.
With the red flag up, we'll take this time out and then return with more exciting Formula One action from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
4:34.
A lot of new developments in the engines used for these boats. Electronics has entered the field. Mark Spencer found out about electronic fuel injection.
Born, tested, and proven on the race course, state-of-the-art computer technology is now available in the outboard engines that you can buy. Les, tell us about the advantages of computerized fuel injection.
On carbureted engines, it was never possible to optimize the carburetor for both top end and low end. With computerized fuel injection, we can do that. The chip is made so that the fuel is always optimized at no matter what RPM that you're running at, which gives you better fuel economy than you would with the traditional carburetors. Here we have the computer circuitry here built on a computer circuit board, and in the computer terminology, this is the chip. In this chip is programmed the exact amount of fuel that is required for all running conditions of the engine.
It's been a long R&D process for fuel injection and using computer technology in racing. How many years have you been developing these engines that the consumers can now buy?
The first fuel injection I was involved with was in 1975. And now, 13 years later, you're now seeing it really on your production outboard.
Races do not happen without people behind the scene, and here's some of the officials today. The race director, who deserves a tremendous round of applause, Bob DeGrenier. He's done a great job. Chief referee, George May. Hank Jackson, the assistant referee. Dick Willazen is the chief inspector. Chief scorer, Marcia Sawyer, and Jack Lewis, the pit manager. We're back now, and we're getting the restart of this race. It'll be restarting in lap number 6 of 50 laps. But as they come down on the course now, heading to turn number 1, Case Vandervelde again in the lead. This time it's Benny Robertson in boat number 57 that moves up into second. Back in third place now, going into the turn is Rick Frost, and on his outside, Andy Bullen. So it's the 4 that were running up front that make it through turn number 1 successfully. Now on the back straight, still it is Vandervelde, and I think we're going to see the drag race developing right about now.
Benny Robertson has a point to prove. He's got the fastest boat in the race. He's got to catch Case Vandervelde. Case has got the inside lane, and he's not going to relinquish that easy. Benny's going to have to work for it.
So Benny Robertson, and there you see him, the dark boat, the boat that is leading him, the lighter boat off to the right of your screen right now is the leader, Case Vandervelde, boat number 1. But you can see how Robertson now is pushing him hard as they come down under the Fort Duquesne Bridge and head down to turn number 1 by the 6th Street Bridge here in Pittsburgh. It is Vandervelde easily through the turn, but you look at through the spray comes Benny Robertson, boat number 57. There you see the leader, and a great shot of him. Benny Robertson coming up on the outside. You can see he's only about 4 boat lengths behind him right now. He's positioned himself starting 17th in the field, has moved himself up to alongside the lead boat. Now
it's a good thing to remember that the boat on the inside actually has a shorter course to run, and because of that, the boat on the outside has the advantage with speed, the boat on the inside the advantage with distance. Right at the moment, Benny Robertson is trying to find a little bit more speed. He's able to tie him up on the straight, but on the turns, Case Vandervelden gets him. Now Robertson is trying to take over the lead. He is going to be first into the turn, but Vandervelden is still hard on the inside. Let's see if Vandervelden can pull him out. Watch for Vandervelden. There he is, and there you see Robertson going up into the front. So Vandervelden is going to hold him off on the inside. That means that Benny will still have to run the outside course, but it is going to be Case Vandervelden now who's playing the game of catch-up.
Benny Robertson is in a unique boat. He's in a fully enclosed cockpit. What that does for him is two things. Number one, it gives him an extra margin of safety. In the event of a nosedive, that safety cell will deflect the water off. The other thing it does is it cleans up the aerodynamics of his race boat. He has got a very fast machine. It's also extremely quick with a lot of mid-range acceleration.
There's the third place boat, Rick Frost. He is out of England, and Rick likes that water rough. And I've got to tell you, at this point in the race, Mark, he is not getting that extremely good rough water he likes.
Rick Frost is a veteran powerboat driver. He loves it when it gets rough. And here at Pittsburgh, as the race wears on, no matter what the wind and water conditions are, it's going to get rough. The bridges here do not allow the wakes from the race boats to dissipate. So as the wakes hit the bridges, they come back in, and about 15 or 20 laps into the race, it starts to get to be a mess, and that's when Rick Frost likes to make his move.
Benny Robertson getting very light on the water as he starts to pass some of the slower boats on the field. Now, we say slower boats. Not all of these boats are powered equally out here. We'll get into that momentarily. Here is the fourth place boat, number 53. That's Mark Crosland out of Woodstock, Georgia. So a little bit unusual that we have two United States drivers up in the running in the first four boats, because in the semis it had been just about dominated by the European boats. But we have two United States drivers, one of them right there, the fourth place boat out of Woodstock, Georgia. And of course this driver, Benny Robertson, in the black boat, number 57. And that boat is out of Charleston, South Carolina. Lap 10 right now of 50 laps. Lap 10 of 50 laps, and Robertson looks like he has it all under control.
Benny Robertson is the consummate race boat driver. He's been racing boats since he was 14 years old. He's an excellent setup man. He knows how to rig the boats. He understands the engine. He's also a thinking man's driver. He knows how to make these boats work. He knows when to plot strategy. He's chosen to go to the lead as quickly as he possibly can so that he can dictate the pace of this race.
Right now, it looks like number 53 is going to have a battle on his hand, because Andy Bullen has moved up on the outside trying to take over third place. Andy Bullen will then try to set his sights on Rick Frost if indeed he can get Mark Crosland to fall back. But at this point, Crosland is holding him off. So that's further back in the pack. Here's the man they're all gunning for, Ben Robertson of Charleston, South Carolina. A great job of driving. He broke the gearbox yesterday, but Mark and I were commenting at that time to each other that perhaps he would know something more for this race, and I think he was maybe testing out that new power plant to find out if it would take the pressure. Well, they found something out, because right at this moment he is ready to go and hold on for the rest of this race, as we are now about 12 laps in out of a total of 50 laps. This is boat number 16, Andy Bullen, and Andy has just now taken over third place. Andy Bullen from Herne Bay, England, has just taken third place, so he'll set his sights on Rick Frost. Frost has gotten himself pretty well down the straightaway, though, so it's almost a full straightaway that separates first and second, or rather second and third. Here's your first place boat. Frost is trying to close in on Benny Robertson, but right now I think Rick Frost has problems. He has gone under the Fort Duquesne bridge, and all of a sudden he has started to lose power, so he is almost off of his blade. Dick Crippen with Mark Spencer, and we'll return to Pittsburgh and more Formula One powerboat racing in a moment.
Dick is with the race director.
Formula Grand Prix racing is back in the United States for one appearance this year.
By the time we're done with here, next year we're looking forward to a 1988 World Series consisting of at least 6 races.
Well, you've had some good response. Everybody's been very positive.
The Three Rivers Regatta, and there you can see the leader right now as he fights his way through some wakes from some slower boats. Benny Robertson in that encapsulated boat. He is in a total capsule in that boat. It's number 57. He's out of Charleston, South Carolina. He started 17th when they took the restart, but he has now moved up into first. There's Benny Robertson, the leader of this race. Now, he is on the outside of Case Vandervelden. They're trying to punch it out. Vandervelden start, but right now he's got that boat operating beautifully, and he's going to put it to the test against the leader, Benny Robertson. We've got another boat out. Rick Frost went out momentarily, and now it looks like he will possibly try to get back into this race. Boat number 24 has gone down. That's Mark Rothamel, the administrator for 3M Company out of Canada.
Mark Rothamel.
That is really a disappointment, but we do get the official word that Rick Frost, boat number 6, is back in. Incidentally, he didn't crash into the steering wheel. That's one of those removable steering wheels that's laying off to the side in case of a crash.
Right now, Benny and Case are hooked up in a classic Formula One race boat duel. They're running side by side. They're dicing and slicing. I think that Case right now has decided he wants to challenge Benny, make him work for it.
Well, he's sure doing that. We're on the 16th lap of 50 right now. 16th lap of 50, and it's really an interesting race out there with Benny Robertson, who came from 17th place, and we understand a yellow flag has gone out. Yes, there it is. The yellow flag is out on the course, which means they have a danger situation. They're warning the drivers to watch out, to be careful.
When the yellow flag comes up, that means for the drivers to pay attention that there's a boat down in the water. However, they keep racing at full race speed. It just gets them to know that there's a problem on the race course. Right now, Case has got the inside lane. Benny's on the outside. The water's getting rougher, and these two are showing what the veteran powerboat drivers can do.
So a great run now. As you can see, Case Vandervelden is leading with 15 laps completed. The number 57 boat of Ben Robertson from Charleston, South Carolina. Boy, I'll tell you, these guys knew coming in they had to be co-favorites, and they really were looking forward to getting into the water here and putting those boats to the test. Plenty of action as we watch the Three Rivers Regatta. So first place now, we get the word, is Case Vandervelden. Second, Benny Robertson. And the 16 boat, Andy Bullen, back in third. So that's our official readout. Just past 15 laps of this 50-lap race. Mark, we talked a moment ago about the different power plants on these boats. And as we look at Benny Robertson, we might give the folks a little idea of the different types of power that they have.
This is actually, in some ways, a race within a race. The Johnson and Evinrude engines are both V8 powered. Some of the drivers are using carburetors. Some of them are using fuel injection. There's also some other types of engines in this race. The Mercury, the Mariner, and the Yamaha engines are all six-cylinder motors. So although they lack a little bit of horsepower in comparison to the big V8, they're out there running very well.
We are in the 18th lap now, and for the moment, and I emphasize for the moment, boat number 57, Benny Robertson, is your leader. You can see boat number 24, Mark Rothamel, still sitting out there. Thus the reason for the yellow flag on the course right now, to warn people while he is still tail out on the course, there could be a dangerous situation. These drivers know that they signal the other drivers. They are well aware of the situation that's happening. It looks like he's trying to communicate with one of the patrol boats.
Mark Rothamel wants to get out of the middle of that straightaway. Those boats are coming at him, turning almost 9,000 RPM, running about 130 miles an hour. And Benny and Case right now are having a personal duel out in front.
Case Vandervelden now, for the moment, is back in second place. And I'll tell you what, Andy Bullen has moved up in there, so it's really 1, 2, 3. Andy Bullen is just on the inside of Case Vandervelden in third place. Still your leader is Ben Robertson of Charleston, South Carolina. He was playing a little bit of a game with Case Vandervelden for a while, but he has taken the lead now, and Vandervelden will see what he has left in that engine, because he, at this point in any race, will settle it in a little bit to get some more laps under the boat before he makes a hard charge. And the bets are on, but at this point, he's got some more power in that boat.
Right now, Benny and Case are having a personal duel, but the man to watch also is the man in number 3 position, Andy Bullen. New paint job on that boat, but that is the boat that Art Kennedy drove last year at Pittsburgh and won this race in. It's the best piece of machinery that Andy has ever had.
I don't think there's any question as you watch that boat go around the corner. Look at him pop it out. Andy Bullen has got it pedal to the metal all the way down. So it is Robertson, it is Case Vandervelden, and it is Andy Bullen closing. Bullen back in third place. What a great race the fans are seeing. Several 100,000 of them have gathered here on the banks of the river, despite the fact of early morning rain that really lasted as a brief shower right through the 11 o'clock hour. They were still out here watching, and now they have themselves a great reward. Boat number 40, we get the word, Bill Marshall of England, who was a little bit of a sneaker yesterday, Mark. He was up in position yesterday several times, and now we learn that he is back in fourth place.
For Bill Marshall to be running in 4th place is a real accomplishment. He's raced a lot of races in Europe. He has never raced here in Pittsburgh, so he's just getting used to this rough water. But right now, Benny Robertson has decided to make his move. He's pulled away from Case and from Andy Bullen. He's opened up about a 2 or 3 second lead.
So at this point, Bill Marshall is holding his boat in 4th place out of Guildford, England. And that smile, he probably has that smile on his face right now because he's got to be happy. Still the leader, Benny Robertson of Charleston, South Carolina, is your leader, and he's doing a great job of driving. There you go. I think it's that he has the business about Pittsburgh being the home of rock and roll. There are probably a lot of fans in Cleveland might have on the first start. Then we had to restart in lap number 6, and he had already, in that short time, moved up to 2nd place. Unbelievable. And boat number 53, Mark Crosland, apparently, I don't know what happened, he took the whole front end of the boat off.
Mark is sitting in the water beside the boat. Looks like he's in pretty good shape. He definitely has all his faculties about him. Tough break for Mark Crosland.
It looks like he probably stuffed the boat because the front end of it is missing. And once again, we have red flags on the course. Red flags are out on the course. There you see the reason why. Now, again, we tell you Mark Crosland of Woodstock, Georgia, is on the other side of his boat. It appeared that he had all his faculties and everything was okay, but again, they're going to check him out. They'll put him in the gurney and bring him into the pit area where the doctors will check him out. Let's go down to Jim Brinson, who's standing by with a guy that's got to be pretty disappointed, Jim, Case Vandervelden.
Yes, he is very much, as a matter of fact. Case, you were leading the race early. You were running very well. What happened?
Okay, just before the first start, I was going well and leading the race. Then we had a restart because of an accident. We lined up again with the restart, and just before the start, my rectifier shorted out and started smoking. And they wouldn't get me out because I was intent to leave without the rectifier, but we have to disconnect the rectifier first. And I just made that in time for the start. But then what happened, I think, because of no charging of the batteries, the fuel injection went wrong, and that's why I stopped.
You were done right there.
I think so, yeah.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much for coming by.
Boat U.S. Nationals will continue, but first this.
Excitement.
No one's been playing the outboard racing game longer than Bedford Davy. In 1936, Bedford set the straightaway record at 78 miles an hour, and he has a dream to become the first man to own a boat to go 200 miles an hour. Bedford, how are you going to break the record?
Well, last year we turned 8,500 RPM on gas and went 170. This time we have twin injection, twin ignition, close to 600 horsepower and alcohol. We think we can do it easily.
Bedford, you've been around outboard race boats for over 30 years. How has the sport changed during that time?
In those days, it cost $5 a pound, $7 a horsepower, 14 cents per gallon of gas. Your boat, your trailer, and your motor cost under $900. Everybody ran. They had so many boats in the races, between the starting bars and the shore, there's barely room to get them all in.
Gary Garbrick, you know Bedford Davy both as a man who has an ongoing love affair with the past, but also a burning desire to be on the cutting edge of new technology.
Well, Bud does. Of course, I think his first priority is to get these antique boats and motors that he keeps wheeling into our place going and set some records. But I think deep down he really wants to be the first guy to have an outboard powered boat go 200 miles an hour. And that, of course, got our attention and captured our interest, which is why you see us dealing with 1930 antique motors and boats as well as the future and hydroplanes.
Gary, tell us what it's going to take to make a 200-mile-an-hour record come true.
Some horsepower to start with. And Cahoon is extracting a fair amount of horsepower out of the same motor that we basically set the 169-mile-an-hour record with last year. And now we're switching it over to alcohol, and he's doing some of his tuning tricks. And I expect that we should run a little over 200 miles an hour.
Well, there you see the boats getting relined up again for another restart, the second restart of this Champion Spark Plug Grand Prix, the Three Rivers Regatta in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's go down to the pit area now. Jim Brinson is standing by with a guy who may just have had the best seat in the house.
Thank you very much, Dick. Yeah, I'm here with number 24, Mark Rothenwald. Tough situation for you. You were running well, and then all of a sudden you went dead.
Yeah, I sure was. We caught a little bit of water on one of the corners, and unfortunately, I fell back a little bit, and I started to come on again.
Oh, And right off the bat, you can see the first and second place boats were matching it as they come down under the Fort Duquesne Bridge. We're going to see a bit of a drag race there with Benny Robertson on the inside of the black boat and the dark blue boat on the outside is Andy Bullen of Hearn Bay. Boat number 40, Bill Marshall, still riding in third as they come down, and now Rick Cross has moved up in his position, so possibly he can grab himself a positioning in fourth place on the restart. We'll wait for official scoring to come through on that, because right at the moment, Benny Robertson is the man to watch. He is setting the pace out in front of this pack. No problem at all for Robertson so far, after some very severe problems yesterday.
There hasn't been a question all weekend, Dick, whether Benny Robertson had the fastest.
A shot at it. He's on the same straightaway as Benny Robertson.
Right now is when Benny hears every tick in that motor.
Green flag is out, signifying just 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go. Andy Bullen still riding in second place. There's your leader, 57. There's Andy Bullen in second place. You can see the strain on that boat. He's not holding back at all. If he can move up on it, he will. Boat number 12 goes out of it. Don Jenkins goes dead on the front straightaway. So Jenkins is dead in the water. You saw him in your... Benny Robertson, he'll come around now and put his eyes up on the barge to see that checker fly out. And the winner of our race, ladies and gentlemen, from Charleston, South Carolina, Benny Robertson. There you see him go by. That streak that went by was Benny Robertson getting the checkered flag. He's got to be happy. I know his crew on the shoreline right now congratulating each other. A lot of celebration going on, and with good reason. They worked hard. They tried something new, and it worked for them.
2 years ago, Benny Robertson won the Pittsburgh Grand Prix. Last year, he was a favorite. He had a real tough afternoon. He wanted to come back and prove a point this year. If we could look inside that cockpit, go through the windscreen that's on his face and the one that's around the boat, you'd see him smiling from ear to ear.
A victory lap for Benny Robertson. This is always the big problem, though. I remember when the first time we had a capsule boat win in Formula One, what do you do with the checkered flag? Well, you can see he loosened up the cockpit and pushed it up. And I understand that after that first day of problems, they installed a flag hook in there. So we'll see if indeed they have it in this boat, because the cockpit is now coming up. Benny Robertson has loosened it. He'll go over there and pick up the checkered flag. And let's see exactly what he's going to do with that checkered flag for his victory run. But certainly he's got to be extremely happy with the way things went for him in that boat today. So he's got that hand out. He says, give me that flag. Give me that flag.
Dealing with the checkered flag is not the only problem they've had with the safety cells, the enclosed ones. Another problem that they've had is just the heat, and it worked to Benny's advantage today. Over
in Pittsburgh, all I can say, this is the second time, and it means so much to me. It's like the Indianapolis 500 of boat racing for me. But certainly is. And I really appreciate it. I can't thank Bud Davey and Gary Garbrick and the guys down there on the team enough to make all this possible. Without that combination, you can't put a win together. It just takes a whole team effort.
Well, things have returned to normal on the Allegheny River right now, but earlier it was roughed up, Mark.
The river did take its toll. These are the men that broke and did not return to the race course. Boat number 24, Mark Rothermel. Number 53, Mark Crosland, Arno Hakkinen, Billy Roscoe, and John Provich.
So Ben Robertson, a great race for him today in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Second place, Andy Bullen of England, and Mark Spencer is standing by with him right now.
Andy Bullen, a happy second-place finisher. Andy, there was just no catching Benny today.
No, Benny was a little bit quicker than us, and...
B6 class, Brian Daly.
This is an excited team, and with good reason. They took the V6 category today, and Brian Daly, a good ride for you out there, and a nice entrance into the sport for Yamaha.
Yes, thank you very much. It was pretty rough out there, and I'm exhausted because of it. It's tough.
Well, now, the rest of the crew looks fine. They don't look worn out or anything.
I don't know. They worked pretty hard yesterday. But a good sleep health.
Well, you know now that the boat can do it. You got out there, you competed, you really saw a great event happen here in Pittsburgh, and you were a part of it and on the winning side. That's just got to make a great day.
Perfect. Yeah, I just can't beat it, I don't think.
Well, we had a lot of changes in position, but Benny Robertson was the man who came out first in today's race, followed by Andy Bullen of England in boat number 16. Then Bill Marshall, first time in the United States, and he comes in third place. Not bad at all. Johnny Sanders, the Wiley...